Okay guys, so today we're going to be making bus-up shots. So I've already kneaded the flour for the dough, and what I've done is that I've divided the dough into smaller pieces, which I'm going to roll in some small balls. Okay, I do not like to make them very big because I have a very small, what you call a tower. I have a very small hot plate. So I'm rolling those dough into some small balls and I'm going to set them aside. Okay, as you see, I'm rolling them in the palm of my hand like this. Okay, so now I'm going to dust the surface with some flour so that I can roll it out. Okay, so we're gonna put enough flour on there, as you can see. So I'm gonna take one of my doughs and I'm going to roll that out. Okay, so I'm just setting them aside so I have enough space as I roll the first dough. Okay, so we want to get all that flour on there, okay, because we don't want it to stick onto the surface. Now I'm flattening that dough nice and flat. I'm going to roll that out using my rolling pin. I like to do this as wide as I can so I can get enough butter on the surface of my dough, which you will see in a while. Okay, so I'm rolling this out really flat. The dough is very soft, and in a next video I'll show you how I actually knead the flour, what I would put in. But for now, I'm just showing you how you go about rolling that dough. Okay, so here I'm just rolling that out nice and thin. Okay, so I'm going to use this butter here. I got it from Tesco's. So it's just very ordinary butter. It's not ghee butter or anything like that. So I just use regular butter. It's like the soft butter that you would find, not the very hard ones, because it's easier to spread onto the dough. So I'm going to spread that onto the dough here. Okay, so you get that nice and even all over the dough like so. So I'm spreading that on there. I like to add a lot of butter onto the dough, and I think that gives it a very flakiness to it, and it is nice and soft. So I like to add butter to my dough, a lot of butter to my dough.
Okay, so what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to take a bread knife and I'm going to make a slit down the middle of the dough. So from the middle to the end. And then I'm going to take one of the loose ends here and I'm going to fold that in. Just make sure that it's really nice and tight once you're folding this, because you do not want any butter to be coming out of that dough. So you need to roll that very tightly. And we go right around, something like a cone shaped at the end. So you would get this cone shaped, and then you would take the ends of the flour and then you would tuck it in just to seal in all of that butter that's been placed inside of the dough. So as you see here, I'm just sealing that in, make sure it's nice and sealed, and then we're going to take the top and we're going to push that down like so. So it's somewhat like a ball, but not really that round, but you push, make sure it's well sealed off so then you don't have any butter coming out of the dough, because you don't want any butter there. Okay, so I'm going to repeat these steps again using the remaining dough. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah, happiness is the measure of success. Somebody say, come out to live man alive. Somebody say, whoa, oh, oh, oh. Hey, 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 hey. Give me life. Give me life. Oh, 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 oh. Hey, 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 hey. Give me life. Give me life. Carnival is a time when the girls, they come out to wine. Festival, it'll be prime. All of the
Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, she had the thing I love. How was she from? I don't know. Rock she waist and go low. Pick up the place like a dojo. So what you say? What you say? What you say?
Okay, so now the butterfilled doughs are actually finished, and what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna place half cup of oil into a bowl, and to that I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. Now, as I'm adding this butter into the bowl, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to pop that into the microwave so that it will melt and be incorporated together. If you do not have a microwave at home, you can always just use your normal stove. Put that into a pan, heat it up, stir it around for about a couple seconds, and you'll have the same results. So there you go. It's nice and melted and incorporated together. Okay, so now we're here at the final stage. So all the dough that I've placed aside with the butter in them, I'm actually going to roll that out and I'm going to place them onto the hot plate or the tower where it's going to cook, and I'm going to show you how we go about doing that. Okay, so I personally like my dough really thin or thin enough. Okay, so the oil and butter mixture that I've done earlier, I've actually placed it onto the tower using a brush, and the dough that I've just rolled out with the butter and everything in it, I'm placing this on the tower now, and I'm going to put a little bit more butter and oil from the mixture right onto the dough. Okay, so you don't want to put too much and you don't want to put too little. So I'm doing that right now. Okay, so I'm going to flip this dough over right now, and using this spatula that I have and the back of a wooden spoon, I'm just gonna push this dough together in this motion so that it has the appearance of being torn apart. Okay, so traditionally the equipment used is a bit different, but because I don't have that, I use what I have. If you have 2 wooden spoons, you can use the back of that. Whatever you can use. Okay, so I'm going to show you the technique again of how to go about tearing apart the dough. So as you see here, I have the spatula, I have the back of the wooden spoon, and I'm actually doing a sort of beating sort of motion.
How you move your body, come shawty, walk it for me. I'm just standing nothing to say, cause your lips them look so good like plenty cherry. You lift and you drop it for me, oh la la mama fit to pity. So you on the road yesterday, the rhythm your waist up like two lele. Cause I must get a taste of that waist mama before I die. Just give me where you never give nobody, don't be shy. I know all of them who watching, they go talk. But when they talk, we go tell them, I don't know about you. But when I don't in the band, me and a woman and me chanting, no nana. She dancing to Afro soca. I don't know about you. But when I'm on the road and I'm in the soft like butter cocoa. I grind and I walk up for so till she friends and them ballin', they want to jito. I ride her just like a moto, rev it up then I ready to go. I love how she roll and she flow, got a bumper, it rosy like pink Moscato. Aye, aye, aye. I must get a taste of that waist, mama, before I die. Aye, aye. Just give me where you never give nobody, don't be shy. Aye, aye. I know all of them who watching